More than 2 million drivers travel on the perimeter every day. 285 is our busiest highway. Today is its golden anniversary, 50 years of traffic jams, expansions, and did that really happen kind of moments. Construction started on 285 in 1958. 64 miles of interstate looping Atlanta, connecting 3 major highways as the suburbs kept growing. It took 11 years and $90 million to finish it. The first driver cruised 285 October 15, 1969. It famously opened with Governor Lester Maddox bursting through a paper ribbon on the hood of a car. It was only 2 lanes each direction in 1969. It expanded to 5 lanes around the time of the '96 Olympic Games. It's had its share of memorable moments. Braves pitcher Pascual Perez earned his nickname Perimeter Pascual after getting lost on 285 on his way to a game. He circled the city several times until he ran out of gas. And who could forget this past summer's cash grab? When money spilled out of an armored truck, drivers stopped along the highway to get as much cash as they could. So 50 years of ITP versus OTP. If you'd like to see some more old pictures, GDOT has an exhibit at the Perimeter Mall. It's going through the weekend. There's even a Lego version of the interstate you've driven many times, Jeff.